Out on the homestead where life feels whole, we're planting seeds, nurturing the soul. Clean living, organic, straight from the land. With every sunrise, we take his hand. God provides from soil to sky, the food we eat, the herbs that heal in his creation.
Welcome everybody to the Healthy Homestead Podcast. Today, Lisa and I are diving into a hot topic that's stirring up a lot of discussion, and that is seed oils. We're going to break down the facts, uncover the truth behind their impact on our health, and separate the good from the bad and actually the downright ugly. Plus, what we'll do is we're going to share our top recommendations for healthier, more nourishing oils to use in your cooking and everyday meals. And you're going to learn a lot today. And we hope that you can make healthier decisions based on listening to our show today. So Lisa and I live on a 42-acre farm here in Idaho that we call Back 40 Farms. We grow and sell organic freeze-dried veggies and fruits, and soon we're going to have meats available, which is pretty exciting. And we do other things here on the farm as well. But if you have not listened to our first or the introductory episode, that's going to give you our entire background and history and story. So if you want to know more about how we got on a farm, why is our passion this way, and just a little backstory, you can check that out. It's a pretty short episode. So lastly, we are going to be giving you a discount code so you can save money on your next order on our country store. And we do this as a small thank you for listening, and also only those tuning in are going to get this code. So it's a win-win for you. So that's kind of cool. If you Google seed oils, the information you get is quite varied, right, Elise? Yeah,
there's a lot of information out there saying, oh, we're going to debunk, that seed oils are bad for you. And in some cases, I think there is some truth to that, but you have to look at the whole picture, and they tend to not do that.
Yeah, and the ones I looked at, when we were prepping for the show, some of them are just complete nonsense. And I always recommend, and I always say, with everything you see online, social media, I don't care what website, you need to consider the source. I mean, one article Lisa found said that by switching from animal fat or lard to seed oils is a healthy switch. It's inaccurate and it's a blunt lie. To be blunt, it's a lie. They're not good, and we're going to provide you the reasons why and the scientific information for those of you that like those kind of facts. They're not good. So let's start off by going over the most common seed oils, where they're found, the health concerns, and spoiler alert, there are a lot with every one that we're going to talk about, and the issues with each one. After that, we're going to give you 3 alternatives to choose from that have monumental health benefits, and clearly the only way to go in regard to oils. Let me repeat that. The 3 that we provide you are the only ones, in our humble opinion, that you should ever have in your kitchen. The bad news is, as you're going to find out, all these other bad seed oils, they're in almost everything that you get in a bag, a box, fast food, restaurants, you name it, it's bad. So anyway, we'll talk about all of that here momentarily. But the reason seed oils are bad, some of the reasons, is they're super highly processed, they oxidize easily, and they contain really large amounts of omega-6 fatty acids. Don't confuse that with omega-3s, which are good. But all of that contributes to chronic inflammation. Well, so what, right? I get inflamed. Would it surprise you that almost every disease out there is caused by excessive inflammation? Cancer, heart attack, arthritis, diabetes, you name it. It's excessive inflammation. So the more inflammation you can get rid of, the likelihood or the better chance that your body is going to thrive. It's going to be able to actually repair itself. So get rid of anything that causes inflammation. So let's dive in. And Lisa, why don't you talk about the first the first seed oil It is a poison, as you're going to find out. But let's talk about canola oil, or commonly known as
rapeseed oil. Not grapeseed, but rapeseed. In other countries, a lot of times they call it rapeseed, but here we call it canola. I think it just sounds better to people here. And I'm sure you've all heard that canola oil, it's heart healthy. Everybody should use canola oil. It's so much better for you. So common uses for canola oil, it's in processed foods. It's used in frying at restaurants, for example. It's used in a lot of salad dressings and margarine. Margarine's a whole nother story.
If you have margarine anywhere in your house, I want you to stop, hit pause, unless you're driving. Go hit pause, grab it, and throw it in the trash.
Yeah. So canola that's grown in the U.S., 95% of it is GMO. And if you don't know about GMO, that's a whole nother rabbit hole that maybe we'll address one of these days. But GMO means genetically modified organism. You probably know that. And typically in our country, it especially means that seeds are Roundup ready. So yeah, we won't get into that too much today, but just know that most canola grown in the U.S. is GMO, 95% of it. Some of the health concerns associated with it, it's highly processed and often hydrogenated. That's a word that we're going to talk about probably repeatedly today, hydrogenation, and what that means for fats. Many canola oils are refined and deodorized using high heat and chemicals. And if you don't know what the chemicals are that they use to do this process, so what happens is when you refine an oil, when you press an oil, when you want to extract an oil from something, you can either cold press it and extract it, or you can heat press and extract it and use chemicals. And one of the most common chemicals they use to do this is called hexane, which is known to be a carcinogen. It's a petroleum product that can cause nervous system problems, and it also contains benzene, which is a known carcinogen, and a mutagen, which means it can make your cells mutate. Hexane can also disrupt hormone levels and fertility in both males and females. And what they say is, there's not really any of it left in the oils by the time you eat them. But the truth is, how it affects us through our digestive process is unknown. So it could be negligible amounts, but how much seed oil are you getting into your system on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? That's something to look at. So it's high in omega-6s, and we're going to talk a lot about that too. It can promote inflammation when consumed in excess, and it's easily oxidized, which means when it's heated, it forms harmful free radicals that can damage your cells.
And let's talk about, just real quick, if I can interrupt, when consumed in excess, many of us might be thinking, well, I don't eat 14 pounds a day. Well, if you're not looking at your label and you're not eating organically grown or fresh fruit and vegetables or meat from, somebody down the road that raises beef, you're likely getting excess. Why? Most people buy stuff from the grocery store. Most items in the grocery store have these contained in them. Almost every single restaurant uses one of these seed oils to fry, to cook, to saute, and all fast foods use it. So if you're eating out periodically, whether it's fast food or a sit-down restaurant, or you're buying something in a can or a box or a bag, you are getting these in excess, just letting you know.
Yeah, and we'll talk about some of the ratios of omega-3s and omega-6s in our diet, typical American diet, in a minute.
And what happens, like you said, you were talking about how they heat it, which is horrible. That's why you always want to get cold pressed. But anyway, what happens when it gets hot?
When it gets hot, it oxidizes, so it creates those free radicals in your body that, everybody's heard of free radicals. They do all kinds of damage to your cells.
Oh, that sounds like a thing I want to go have a shot of right now.
Another thing that happens is that a lot of seed oils, they put they put it through this whole process of refining it, and it makes it more shelf stable. It makes the food that they put it in more shelf stable. But if it goes rancid, especially, it's extremely toxic. So you have to be really careful about the sources of where you're getting this, because if it's sat, some people will keep it in the fridge to keep it from going rancid as fast. But you just have to be really careful with the quality of what it is in the first place.
So if that isn't enough to scare you, let's move on to soybean oil. Where is soybean oil found? fast food, dressings, packaged baked goods, I shouldn't say all, but most processed snacks. So you're talking potato chips, anything in a bag, right? And what does soybean oil do? Well, it contains I'm going to mess this up. Phytoestrogens, which basically disrupts the hormonal imbalance in your body. And soybean oil is extremely high in omega-6s, which throws off the body's omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. So the omega-3s you want plenty of, and omega-6 you want very, very low. And this particular soybean oil is super high in the bad omega-6s. So several studies have been out there that it actually interferes with thyroid hormone production. So what is soybean very popular? Well, it is the most widely used seed oil in the United States. It dominates the market. I bet you can guess why. Because it's cheap. And it's heavily used in processed foods, fast food restaurants, restaurant cooking, the sit-down restaurants. So now you can imagine most people in this country are eating fast food and at restaurants, or if they are trying to do the right thing and eat more at home, but when they shop, they're eating the highly processed foods. So it makes sense that the United States produces over 11 million metric tons of soybean oil annually, making it the top edible oil that's consumed in our country, which is not good. Okay, so
and it's 94% GMO. 94% of the soybeans grown in the United States are GMO crops.
GMO? I like that, GMO. Yeah, GMO is... maybe we should do a whole show on that, but GMO... it's crazy. We were at the store the other day, and which we don't hardly ever go to if we can, help it. But I looked at gum and what was it, breath mints? Mm-hmm. And it said, what's the saying on it?
Contains a bioengineered product.
Bioengineered product. That's a fun, fancy way of saying that our product is genetically modified. It contains a bunch of carcinogens and it's horrible for you. But we're hoping that you don't read the fine print.
Yeah, one of the tricks that they like to pull, and they've done this with food dyes as well, is that they'll change the name of something. So once kind of the public gets wind of something that might be harmful or that they don't necessarily want in their food, they'll just change the name of it. So when you read the package, you don't recognize that that's what they're talking about. So instead of saying this contains GMO, it says contains a bioengineered food.
Yeah, so
or ingredient.
It's no bueno. All right, Lisa, why don't you talk about the third bad seed oil?
Okay, number 3, corn oil. 92% of the corn grown in the United States is GMO. This typically does not apply to sweet corn that you buy, but it does apply to corn that's grown for animal feed, and then also for commercial use like fried foods, margarine, processed snacks, and salad dressings.
And by now you've already thrown your margarine in the trash.
Yes.
I hope.
And your pre-made salad dressings. Do that one too. Some of the health concerns with corn oil, it's high in omega-6 fatty acids. That's going to be a common theme that you hear in all of these, which can drive chronic inflammation when consumed in excess. And GMO and pesticide concerns. Most corn used for oil production is genetically modified, which we already said, and heavily sprayed with pesticides. It's prone to oxidation, so it creates those harmful aldehydes when heated. And, corn oil, I don't know that it's used as much, but when you buy vegetable oil, look at what that contains, because it may have corn oil in it as well.
Well, hopefully after this show, nobody will be buying vegetable oil. And let's not forget that Roundup, although it does a pretty good job on weeds, it was the second biggest ingredient in the napalm bomb during Vietnam. Yet, it's okay to spray on food. It's only okay, and it'll only work on seeds that have been genetically modified to withstand it, right? So do you see the theme? The first 3 oils, what does it do? It messes up or gets rid of your omega-6s, and it causes inflammation. And as we know what inflammation does, it causes all kinds of diseases, if not most. Number 4, cottonseed oil. I just had a urge to sing Cotton Eye Joe for some reason. Wait, did you come? Okay, maybe not. That's a whole nother show. Cottonseed oil, processed foods, fried foods, chips, margarine, health concerns. Cotton is not grown as a food crop, so it can be treated with any heavy chemical and pesticide that they deem necessary, and they do deem it necessary because they want a white, beautiful, fluffy crop, right? And how do you do that? You spray the heck out of it. And since it's, quote, not a food, it's not even monitored, and it doesn't really matter if it's monitored by the FDA anyway, because FDA is a joke. But it promotes inflammation, as you might have guessed, which increases risk of heart disease and many other things. And there's a couple studies out there that it negatively impacts fertility due to gossypol. Am I saying that right? Gossypol?
I don't know.
There's so many. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. Fertility due to this gossypol, which is a natural toxin in cotton plants. So number 1, 2, 3, and 4 all thus far have increased inflammation, and it is sprayed with a whole bunch of bad things that you don't want in your body. Number 5, go ahead, Lise.
Sunflower oil. Common uses are chips, processed snacks, fast food, and cooking oil. The health concerns, it's extremely high in omega-6s, up to 70% linoleic acid, which can drive inflammation. Easily oxidized when exposed to heat, it creates toxic chemicals that damage DNA and tissues. It's another thing that most of these have in common. Most sunflower oil is refined, removing any beneficial compounds, so it has virtually zero nutrition.
Why do they use it then?
It's cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap. Safflower. We're almost done with the bad, and we'll get on to the good, folks. Number 6, safflower oil. Mostly used for cooking oil, processed foods, margarine. It's unstable at high heat, and when it's heated, it breaks down into harmful compounds when used in frying. So safflower oil is used a lot in fast food restaurants as well. And last time I checked, in order to fry something, it's at high heat. But this particular oil is unstable at high heat, and it basically, the hotter you make it, the more poisons it produces. Doesn't make a lot of sense. And as you guess, it too promotes inflammation, and it contains excessive omega-6 fatty acids. And we're going to have notes in the show description that'll take you to, we'll have a lot of resources for you, but we'll have a couple good non-biased articles that will tell you all about omega-6s. If you want to learn more, check out our notes. But this too, when they refine it, it takes all the natural antioxidants like vitamin E, it takes all of the good stuff out, and it leaves all the poisons in. I say poisons, I guess it's not, quote, a poison, but if you ingest it and it causes disease, then I consider it a poison. It's stuff that you don't want in your body. So last but not least,
Grapeseed oil. So we started with rapeseed oil. We're ending with grapeseed oil. Common uses is salad dressings, mayonnaise, and frying oil. Health concerns, high in omega-6s. It disrupts the omega-3 balance, contributing to chronic inflammation. Okay, so are you seeing a pattern here? And again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the ratio, what the ratio should be for omega-3 to omega-6s in a minute. And that will explain why we are attacking these omega-6s so much. It uses a solvent extraction process, usually extracted using hexane, which we mentioned earlier, which is a chemical solvent, and is easily oxidized, can turn rancid quickly, forming harmful free radicals. So those are 7 of the most used. They're ultra-processed, they're high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, and prone to oxidation, leading to free radical damage. Chronic consumption has been linked to, which we've already talked about, inflammation, which is the root cause of many chronic diseases, heart disease due to oxidized fats and trans fats, hormonal imbalances from estrogenic compounds and processing chemicals, and obesity and metabolic issues affecting insulin sensitivity. So why would you want to put that in your body, I guess? I do want to say in some of our research, you might read if you do any searching on your own, you might read omega-6s are great for you. And it's not that they aren't good for you. It's just that the balance is so heavily tipped in the favor of omega-6s that's what's causing a lot of these issues. So, for example, the ideal ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids is from 1:1 to 4:1. But in our diets today, with all the processed foods, especially heavily processed things, margarine, fried foods, bakery goods, all that kind of stuff that you buy already made, our ratio is currently around 20:1. So when you have that much of an imbalance in the ratio, that's where the inflammatory properties take a toll. They don't balance each other out the way that they're supposed to. So we really need to stop eating out as much, stop eating processed foods as much. And if you happen to cook with a little bit of seed oil at home, probably not that huge of a deal as long as you don't have it in everything else that you eat, right? Just like everything else, moderation. I still wouldn't use it just because I don't like the fact that they chemically process it and they use the hexane and the benzene to extract those oils. I think that is an unproven detriment, but they always say, oh, it's safe, it's such a tiny amount, blah, blah, blah. I disagree. If you don't know what the effect of that is, then I don't want to be a human experiment. So let me just give you some sources of omega-3, so omega-6s and omega-3s are both essential fatty acids. And what that means is we have to get them from our food because our bodies don't produce them. So sources of omega-3 are usually oily fish like salmon, oysters, sardines, mackerel, herring. You can also find it in flaxseed, chia seeds, and walnuts. So if you are a vegetarian for some reason and you don't want to eat fish, you can get it from some plant sources. But omega-3s are important to all of our cells, our cardiovascular and endocrine systems, and it's linked to better brain function. So in addition to all the other things that are causing problems in our brain, if we don't have enough omega-3s, that's also detrimental to our brain function. There's 3 types of omega-3s, EPA, DHA, and ALA, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the full names of those, but I'll tell you what they do. EPA produces
Hey, she said she wasn't going to try, and here she is trying.
Well, this is,
It's about 16 digits or letters.
It produces eicosanoids, that's it, eicosanoids, which help reduce inflammation and may reduce symptoms of depression. Interesting. DHA makes up about 8% of our brain weight and contributes to brain development and function. And ALA benefits our heart, our immune system, and our nervous system. So omega-3 fats are crucial parts of human cell membranes and improve our heart health, support our mental health, can reduce our waist size, can decrease the fat on our liver, and can support infant brain development, like when they're still in the womb, and fight inflammation. So yeah, it's a crucial piece that we need, and we don't get that many of them. I think most people, or a lot of people, aren't huge fans of eating fish. Well,
and to be honest, like, we don't eat a lot of fish here. All 98, 99% of everything we consume, we grew as far as meat. So the chickens, the turkeys, the beef, pork, all of it are raised here on the farm. We don't raise fish. We just don't, frankly, have the time, although I think it would be pretty cool. A buddy of ours did that, and it's like, wow, tilapia, and you can get this. Anyway, so we don't eat a lot of fish. And I don't go to the store and buy a supplement, because most supplements are garbage. Here's my ADHD or ADD moment. If you are taking supplements, read all the ingredients in them. Even if you get them at Whole Foods, I'm going to wager right here and now that they are crap. You can go buy the most expensive, top-rated vitamin C from whatever store you want, and you look at it, and what does it say? Vitamin C, it contains 2,000% more than the daily average or the daily allowance. And then the second ingredient is what? Ascorbic acid. Okay, that's just what's in vitamin C, I guess. Do you know what ascorbic acid does when you have it consumed in your body? The first thing it does is it removes and depletes vitamin C from your body. Yet it's in a vitamin C supplement. So if you're going to take supplements, the supplement should be basically made from food or
most supplements out there are synthetically
it's
derived.
Garbage. I'm telling you, you think you're taking, I'm getting my vitamin D, I'm getting my magnesium, well, first of all, you can get everything you need from clean food. But, so anyway, we don't eat a lot of fish, so I take a shot of cod liver oil every morning. Doesn't taste bad, doesn't taste like anything, actually. And that's how I get mine. So anyway, there's my ADHD moment now. I don't even know where we're... Well, after all of this, right, we're talking about fast foods and restaurants. It kind of makes you want to go out and stop at McDonald's, right? No, I was kidding. I can't even remember. When was the last time we ate McDonald's? Was it...
I couldn't tell you.
Was it... I know it's over 20 years, but is it... I can't even remember. So
I know we were pretty sure it was when we were traveling somewhere, and it was kind of the only option that we had on the road.
I think we were desperate, and we had chicken because we thought that was better, which it probably was not. But speaking of McDonald's, and I might as well continue with my ADHD moment, I want to get on a quick tangent, but let's talk about those beautiful, crispy, delicious, salty, amazing French fries. Do you know what's in and how those French fries are made? Well, let me explain it. They are fried in either vegetable oil, hydrogenated soybean oil, canola, or corn oil. And now you know what kind of poisons these 4 oils are. That should be enough information to keep you away from McDonald's fries. But guess what? It gets worse. They also toss in dimethylpolysiloxane.
Good job.
I almost sounded like I could pronounce it. But what that is it's an anti-foaming agent, which they put in the oil to get more uses from each oil batch. So they're making more money doing it that way. The problem is this compound is synthetically created. It's known to cause cancer. It's horrible stuff. These silicone-based compounds, they do not break down in the body, meaning they don't come out. They have to accumulate somewhere. And where is it? It's in the digestive tract over time, and it's a bad, bad deal. It's also known to be a hormone disruptor. And if that isn't bad enough, guess who has labeled this completely poisonous, created synthetic compound? Guess who approved that? Yep, you might have guessed already, the FDA. If you believe anything that the FDA says or approves, but we always just recommend dig deeper and do your own research on the specific products that you like and you use. And
we'll probably do another episode at some point about how so many things have gotten into our food system that you wouldn't believe are there, and why would they ever be allowed. So that's a whole nother episode too.
So if you're eating at a sit-down restaurant or making a quick stop at Wendy's, McDonald's, Arby's, Taco Time, Taco Bell, whatever your choice is, just know that you are consuming 1 or more of the 7 rancid and ridiculously dangerous and poisonous oils. If you're okay with that, keep doing what you're doing. That's fine, but it's not going to be good as you get old and gray like me. But there is quite a very easy solution. Stop eating out and only cook, or choose products that don't contain them. I understand that's easier said than done, because these are in almost anything in a bag or box or at a restaurant or fast food.
But there is another solution. If you're eating out at a sit-down restaurant now, at a fast food place, they're not going to change anything for you just because you want them to. But at a lot of restaurants, if you ask them, say, what do you cook this in? And they'll find out for you if they don't know. We were at a restaurant with some friends not too long ago, and they asked, and the lady we were with, she was ordering some salmon. So she asked them if they would cook it in butter. And they did. Instead of their normal whatever cooking oil that they use, they agreed that they would cook it in butter for her. So you can make requests like that if you have specific things. And if you take the minute to ask them, how are you cooking this? It is possible to make some adjustments and still be able to enjoy eating out at restaurants every now and then.
And let's be honest. We want to be honest and upfront with you. We do eat out at restaurants, albeit not very often. I will have those horrific things called Oreos from time to time. Very rarely. But the difference is, if you picture a swimming pool with 10,000 gallons of water in it, if you have one Oreo and you throw it in this pool, it's not going to make that big of an impact to your body because it's not consistent, it's not accumulating, and it's not, your body has time to repair. The problem is that people are drinking these things, eating these things for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and that swimming pool is getting a lot fuller of those chemicals, and then your body has no chance to recover. The body is so amazing at recovering if you feed it correctly. It astounds me. So many people, I put this top synthetic oil in my car. I get it washed every week. I put the most expensive, cleanest, low ethanol in my car. Because they want it to run smoothly. But they are eating complete garbage and wonder why they feel like crap, and wonder why they're sick, and wonder why they're fat, and wonder why they can't walk up a flight of stairs. I was there. As I said in the introductory, I was 220 some pounds, super unhealthy. So I get it. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, don't be curious on why you don't feel good when you put bad stuff as your fuel, which food is. When it's good, your body is good. And if it's bad stuff, then your body doesn't function very well. There is a really cool app out there, and I did a short video. It's actually, we wrote an article on our blog. The link to that article will be posted in the show notes, so click on it. But it's called Yuka, Y-U-K-A. I would highly recommend downloading it. You can get a paid version. I think it's $10 a year. You could do everything on the free version. But take that into your kitchen, take that into your laundry room, take that into your bathroom, and just start scanning things. And you will probably be super surprised at how many high-risk chemicals are in your kitchen, pantry, and bathroom. It's astounding. But let's get off that doom and gloom, and we want to talk about the good stuff, right?
Better choices.
Better choices. And it's so easy. And that's what we like. We like easy. But before we get on the good oils, and we're only going to talk about the three, for those of you that have stuck around, you are going to benefit from the coupon code that you can use is Seed Oils. One word, SEEDOILS, all caps, at our country store. And it will take off 15% from your entire order. So there you go. There are only 3 cooking oils, in our opinion, that should ever be used. And, like I said before, consider the source. So we feel these are the only 3. If you disagree, that's cool. But do some research, and you might find that these 3 are probably right in line with better health. And we're going to talk about these 3. We'll give you a description of them and talk about the health benefits of each instead of all the dangerous, poisonous, high inflammation and carcinogenic, right? These are the good oils that can be used. And we'll also talk about the most common way that people use them. I'll start with extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil, it's so good. The Mediterranean diet, it's a staple. It's extracted from the fruit of the olive tree. It's the highest quality version, which is EVOO, which is extra virgin olive oil, is cold pressed, opposite of heat, like all the others, and it's minimally processed. So it keeps all of the antioxidants and all of the beneficial compounds and nutritional value. And if you're unaware of the olive tree and the olive oil, read your Bible. It's all in there. And what's crazy, that's not crazy, but it's really cool to imagine that for all the illnesses out there and all the things that can go wrong, God has created plants and natural herbs and medicines all within our, well, I'm looking outside right now. And we're looking at a black walnut tree over by our creek. And I mean, walnuts are amazing for you. The other cool thing, I'm just ADD all day here apparently. But you can look at some of the fruits and veggies and know what part of the body that it's good for. It's crazy. Example, a walnut. You take a walnut out, what does a walnut look like? Lise?
A brain.
A brain. Yep. Walnuts are really good for the brain. What if you cut a tomato in half and you lay it and look at it? How many chambers does it have? 4. Can you guess which body part tomatoes are really good for? Your heart. Kidney beans, I don't need to tell you that, right? So it's just really cool that olive oil, which is super, super good for you, comes from the olive tree. And I don't know where it appears in the Bible, but I know it's early. And so I think it's cool that we can get so many benefits naturally, and I believe that is how God intended it. So some of the benefits of olive oil: it reduces oxidative stress and inflammation. It's high in monounsaturated fats, which support healthy cholesterol levels and reduces heart disease risk. It's also linked to improved cognitive function, and it lowers the risk of diseases like Alzheimer's. It's really also super good for gut bacteria and may reduce some inflammation in the digestive tract. Best uses for olive oil: you can drizzle it over salads, vegetables, or meats. It's best used for low to medium heat cooking, and oftentimes people use it kind of as a finishing oil for added flavor and nutrition. It's really quite tasty. So Lisa, you want to talk about, I think my favorite, I think I use it the most if I'm ever allowed to cook, and that is avocado oil.
Yes, avocado oil is amazing, and I will talk about it, but I do want to throw out one caveat about olive oil, which is, some people don't like using it because it can have a strong flavor, especially if it's cold pressed. So that to me is not an issue. I don't care about that. But there is, it is well known in the olive oil industry that some companies are prone to cutting it with cheaper oils. And even if it says 100% olive oil, there may not be 100% olive oil in it. So something else to research, something else to take a look at if you're interested. But it's well known in the avocado oil industry that they tend to adulterate it to make it a little cheaper,
of course,
and get more bang for their buck.
So you definitely want not just olive oil, you want the extra virgin olive oil, and you want organic, and you want to make sure it's cold pressed. And where do we get ours? Do we order it online?
No, it depends. I get it different places.
Okay.
I've gotten it at Costco. I've gotten it at,
So just make sure that it is cold pressed and it has to be organic. Now, I will say olive oil has increased in its price quite a bit. However, you don't need to use as much. And it's a lot cheaper than a doctor visit and prescriptions. So just something to compare it with. So
back to avocado oil. So obviously it's extracted from the flesh of avocados. You probably know that avocado is a very high fat fruit. And yes, it is a fruit. But it's really nutrient dense and heart healthy. Has a high smoke point, making it great for cooking. We use avocado oil quite a bit. Another fairly expensive oil. But really, you shouldn't need a tremendous amount of oil to cook with, unless you're frying something. If you're deep frying something, it's inherently less healthy no matter what. So, maybe stay away from fried foods a little more and cook with some avocado oil. It contains monounsaturated fats similar to olive oil, but it has a more neutral flavor. And that's true. And we actually make our own mayonnaise with both avocado oil and olive oil, depending on what we have handy.
Yeah, because I can tell you why. I thought the actual, not the light, that's just full of garbage, but I thought the real mayonnaise, right? That's just, I scanned it with the Yucca app that I was talking about a minute ago. No more. It is no bueno. Yeah. So use that app. It's pretty awesome.
So the health benefits of avocado oil, it has a really high smoke point. It has the highest smoke point of any of the ones that we've talked about at around 520 degrees Fahrenheit. So it doesn't oxidize at those high temperatures. It supports heart health, contains oleic acid, which helps maintain balanced cholesterol levels, and it enhances nutrient absorption. So it helps your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. And then it has anti-inflammatory properties as well. So it contains lutein and vitamin E, which support eye health and reduce inflammation. So best ways to use it: sautéing, grilling, roasting, frying. It's good in salad dressings and, like I said, homemade mayo. And it's actually really good for skin and hair hydration as well.
And if you don't have any of these oils, but you're getting ready to fry something up, and you have organic butter, that's great. But it's high in fat. That's another.
All oils are high in
that's
fat.
Another show. But use butter.
We don't cover butter in this episode because it's not considered an oil. But it's another option for cooking.
Another alternative for sure. Let's see. So we've talked about the amazing olive oil and avocado oil. So those two you could definitely switch to. The last one is coconut oil, and they get that oil from squishing down the meat of quite mature coconuts, and it's unique because it contains mostly medium chain triglycerides, which the body quickly converts into energy instead of throwing it into your body and storing it as fat. Health benefits: these medium chain, or MCTs, medium chain triglycerides, it supports ketone production, making it a favorite for those taking or using or being on the keto diet. And it's been studied in their role in cognitive function, which these MCTs have a benefit, a potential benefiting those with neurodegenerative diseases. So the other crazy thing is it contains lauric acid, which can combat harmful bacteria, funguses, and viruses. And like the other cooking oils, it helps with digestion and may benefit the gut. So you always want to have a healthy gut because your gut-brain relationship is real. If your gut is not good, you're probably not thinking and functioning as clear. But if both of those are good, you are awesome, like Lisa. Best uses: baking, sautéing, and or frying. Some people will actually just take a teaspoon, tablespoon, throw it in their smoothie or throw it in their coffee. Kind of gives you a little natural energy boost if you need it. And some people will just put a little cup or a little container in their shower and use it for skin and hair moisturizer. They just lather it on, leave it in your hair for a few minutes, and rinse it out. Watch your skin and hair after you use it for a little bit. It's pretty amazing. I
actually use coconut oil instead of, sometimes I still use lotion, but a lot of lotions have all kinds of crap in them. So sometimes I'll just take coconut oil and run it over my skin, and it takes just a second for it to absorb in. It doesn't leave you feeling greasy or oily or anything like that, and it's an outstanding moisturizer for your skin. So, that's a nice way to incorporate that into your body as well.
And I think, in not super near future, but we're going to be offering some ointments and hand creams and things like that are made from these amazing oils. So in short, stay away from fast food, restaurants, anything in a bag. I know, easier said than done, but download the Yuka app. Link is going to be in the show notes, so you can see what is already in your home, and while you're out shopping, you can say, is this a good decision? Without having to read the entire label and trying to pronounce 18-letter words. You just scan it, and it gives you a rating. If it's a horrible rating, it'll give you an alternative. But again...
And it'll tell you why it gives you that rating. So it'll say it contains this, and that's high risk, or it's medium risk, or it's low risk, and then you can make an informed decision about whether you want to include that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of apps out there, but this one is unbiased, and I've spoken with the creators of it who actually made this app. I think they're out of Canada. Don't quote me on that. I was hoping they'd give me like some free stuff, like a Yuka shirt, or I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. It's just something that will really help while you're out shopping. It does not rate cooking oils. It does not rate pharmaceutical items, obviously. But it covers a lot of stuff. So,
food and cosmetics.
Yeah, stay away from anything that you drive by to eat. And when you're cooking, use olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. And is there anything else you want to add?
I do just want to touch on the different kinds of fats. We haven't really, and it's a whole deeper subject. But I do want to say that most of your seed oils are high in polyunsaturated fat, which they tell you is a great thing. The proponents of it say they're beneficial when they replace saturated fat. And by saturated fat, I'm talking about animal products like butter, lard, that kind of stuff. Saturated fat is anything that's solid at room temperature. So, yeah, the proponents of seed oils are going to tell you that those polyunsaturated fatty acids are great. And maybe they do have some benefits, but like I said earlier, it's all about the ratio of what you're putting into your body. If you're eating 20 times the amount of omega-6s and not enough omega-3s, it's going to cause inflammation. It's going to cause all those issues that we just talked about. So that's polyunsaturated fats. Trans fats, I'm sure you've all heard trans fats. That means partially or fully hydrogenated oils. So a hydrogenated oil is something that is made in the process of solidifying liquid fats. So that's like turning vegetable oil into margarine or shortening. And that's where you see those hydrogenated oils. So when you're reading your labels, look for that word, hydrogenated. Turns it into a trans fat. Food companies used to put a lot of trans fats into food because it extended the shelf life of foods, processed foods. It's the worst kind of fat you can put in your body. However, since 2018, they're not allowed to add trans fats to your food anymore. So that's a good thing, but you might still see hydrogenated oils, especially in things like margarine and shortening. So yeah, we have the omega-3 fatty acids, the omega-6 fatty acids. There's also, like we mentioned, monounsaturated fats. So there's all these different, and it just depends on the bonds in the molecules.
Yeah,
Depends on how they're rated. So, just something else you might want to look at if you're doing more research. Look at the different kinds of fats and what are the benefits and downfalls of each kind.
And it's super difficult if you try to, I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat organic. I'm going to stay away from fat. It's really, really hard to do all at once. Your body would probably freak out if you did. So my recommendation, and I'm not a doctor, but my recommendation is baby steps. Cut out this, add something good. Cut out another bad thing, add something good. My transformation was about 2.5, 3 years, and it's a process, but you can do it. It's pretty easy, and that's why we created this podcast. We want to help those who want to help themselves. We're not trying to change the world. We're just trying to help those people that are interested in living a healthier lifestyle. And why? Why would I care if I can just pop a pill? Because you can live till you're 90 and be miserable and unmobile and unable to grab your grandchild, unable to go for a 3-mile walk with your spouse, spend most of your retirement years at the doctor's office, or you can have a different life. And I don't personally care if you're 400 pounds or 200 pounds right now. Baby steps. Every little bit helps. The more you can give your body the chance and opportunity to heal itself, it will, but not if you keep poisoning it.
Yeah, and like anything else that we talk about on this show, our goal, like Ron said, is just to give you information. We're going to give you our opinions on things. We do a lot of research, but still it is just our opinions. We're not doctors. So the idea is to get some information out there that you might not have heard before, and then you take it and run with it. You want to take responsibility for your own health and your own life.
Yeah,
you can take this information and go do more research and make a decision that's right for you. Just because, we say it's great doesn't mean it's right for you. So that's up to you, and everybody has their own agency in making those kind of decisions if they have the information that they need to.
We just want the goal. We want to make sure you have the accurate, unbiased, real information, because if you Google things out there, you're going to get articles and videos that pop up that are 100% opposite of what we're saying. Consider the source. Do your own research. And it takes time and it takes energy. And who has that? Not a lot of people. So if you can listen to our podcast and get all of this information with a quick clickable links in our show notes and take you to the Yucca app, or it takes you to this article that we've already done the homework for you on, then great. We want you to check out the notes in the description, because we're going to give you links and resources about today's topic as well as other valuable resources. And our goal with every episode is designed to inspire healthier living and provide practical tips to help you thrive. That's it. So if you like what you're listening to thus far, again, this is our 3rd episode. We want you to enjoy our show, and if you like what you hear, we would really appreciate. This is a new show, but we would really appreciate you sharing our podcast with others, and it might help them. Somebody you might know may need this information. So please share our podcast, and if you have like 20 seconds, if you give us a review, that would be great. 5 stars would be really welcomed. At least that's what we're hoping for. It takes literally 15-20 seconds to do so. Why do we want reviews? The more reviews this podcast receives makes it easier for others to find, because you look on the podcasts out there about health and healthy living and all of those things. There's very, very few. There are some, but there are very few podcasts out there are from people that are growing and raising their own food and doing the research and providing information by living it, as opposed to doing research and spouting off information that they found on the internet. We live it, we love it, and we hope that you do too. So until next time, we hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day, and God bless. www.bffidaho.com for lots of resources, videos, articles, and more.
Out on the homestead where life feels whole, we're planting seeds, nurturing the soul. Clean living, organic, straight from the land. With every sunrise, we take His hand. God provides from soil to sky, the food we eat, the herbs that heal. In His creation, we find our way to live with purpose every day. The healthy homestead where peace is grown, a place of love, a life well known. Alternative paths where wisdom leads, nature's bounty fulfills our needs. Helping each other, sharing the light. In simple living, we find delight. God provides from soil to sky, the food we eat, the herbs that heal. In His creation, we find our way to live with purpose every day. The healthy homestead where peace is grown, a place of love, a life well known. With every plant, every tree, a reminder of His gift so free. From the earth beneath to the skies above, we walk this path in grace and love. God provides from soil to sky, the food we eat, the herbs that heal. In His creation, we find our way to live with purpose every day. The healthy homestead where peace is grown, a place of love, a life well known. The healthy homestead, come and stay. Find joy in life, God's perfect way. The healthy homestead, come and stay. Find joy in life, God's perfect way. The healthy homestead, come